Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well and enjoy your life like we are. We headed straight to home after our last show because we needed to bring more paintings that hasn't dried yet, and my dad also needs to take more photos of his works first. Then we had to reload our car a little bit since it was a mess from our last show. Everything needs a better rearrangement. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to Colorado this weekend. I've never been to that city before, and I heard the view sure will be fantastic. And the weather should be better and drier than Houston, and the landscaping should be totally different from Houston as well. If everything goes right, we should be seeing a lot of mountains. So if you are interested as me, please keep watching. Okay, now we are heading off. And we also stopped at Costco for gas too. Since it will be a long drive, we are not only need to make sure that we are comfy enough, but we also need to make sure our car will be safe and reliable the whole time. We also took a little rest in the middle of our drive. I used to drive all night long before. I've been that shoes and I don't really like that at all. Now I think I really need to stop doing that because it truly did damage my health condition in some level. My metabolism turned down a little bit. However, at the end, we also arrived a tiny bit late. I think we took too many breaks. So, a little tips for anyone who wants to do a road trip. Always leave early as you can. Don't rush into your trip at the last minute since you'll always forget things eventually. The setup rule for this art show is slightly different and more strict than others. Considering this art show was in the middle of the village, so no car could block the traffic and all the artists needs to check in and wait at the parking lot before you could come up and load up. Also, the parking lot was located at the bottom of the mountain and there was no parking lot near our booth. So the only transportation between our booth and parking lot was the local bus. Moreover, each artist had only 30 minutes to unload your stuff. Then you need to move your vehicle and then come back to set up your booth. It was definitely a disaster loading in process for my dad because he kept dropped paintings everywhere. Since there was still a little distance between where we parked and our booth, we had to use our car to drag everything to our booth. Gladly, we did brought two cars, so both me and my dad could use one. We also needed to decide which painting we want to show because once we parked our car, it would be really hard to bring one painting to our booth. With the time limit, it made everything seem impossible to conquer. And the whole setup for this show was definitely more difficult and challenge for us. And one of our cars that we brought seemed more agile for no reason at all. It kept moving by itself. It could be the wind, but I'm still blaming the car. The only advantage for coming late is the temperature was lower than the morning. But we're in Colorado. It has been frosty all day anyway. So once again, if you have a schedule, stick into it. Don't rush into the last minute. It will ruin everything. It literally will ruin everything. See? Did you guys just see that car doing that again? I told you I'm not really blaming the wind, I am blaming the cart. But anyway, I already parked the car back into the parking lot, so we are not in a rush anymore. So we kind of like need to decide how we're gonna set up our booth. As you can see, this time we didn't have much space compared to the Minnesota show. The booth space was only 10 by 10. We didn't have any extra walls to hang our large paintings either, so we did have tried our best not letting this compact and narrow layout affect our booth. We still want to make our booth cozy and pleasant. I guess this is just the fun part of doing our shows. You'll never know what kind of arrangement it will turn out at the last because there are so many unknown facts. Now let's speed up to the next day. And let me show you guys the final layout first. We put more small paintings instead of the large ones. We kind of hope this helped for our final presentation. A little more info about this show. This was a 3-day show. It was located at Beaver Creek Village. This festival offers the surrounding of a modern town center coupled with the image of an elevated village. This art show should be very busy with both Vail Village locals and the weekend travelers looking for one-of-a-kind art. One thing I found out really weird and odd was there weren't many people for 3 whole days. Usually it will be a little bit slower at the first or last day, but for this art show it was kind of slow for the whole time. We did have people coming inside our booth and taking photos, and we also have people buying prints too. Yet we didn't have people buying paintings with them at the art show. Well, sometimes it is what it is. I mean, if you want to live with the thrill, you gotta be prepared once you couldn't fly or fall. We did end up with a customer who bought a small painting through a phone call. She was FaceTiming with her friend while she saw this piece and she liked it so much, so she brought that painting through FaceTime. It was a fun experience and we did deliver that painting to her house eventually. To be honest, this show was actually okay. It wasn't that awesome as we expect, but it did ended up fine. So we really got nothing to complain. FYI, I did saw a lot of mountains. Alright, now we are done and ready to go to our next show, which is in Marietta, Georgia. So if you are curious about our next show, please give us a like and subscribe our channel. I'll keep y'all updated.